You know, when I was a kid, TV shows used to be scripted. They used to have writers that wrote compelling dialogue, and they would pay actors to memorize that dialogue and then emote that dialogue on screen in order to tell a story. That's not what TV is anymore. You turn on MTV, which used to be all about playing music, that's why it's called music television, and now it's all reality TV shows. You go to the History Channel. It used to be programming about history. Now, reality TV shows about people who run pawn shops, and people who restore classic cars, and people who go into the woods and chop down fucking trees. And then there's the fucking Learning Channel, which decided that not only was it going to forsake the idea of a channel dedicated to learning entirely, they decided that if they're turning away from the concept of learning, they're going to do a full 180-degree turn. Although actually they would probably say a 360-degree turn, since they're fucking retarded. The Learning Channel has completely abandoned the concept of learning entirely. And if you need proof, then look no further then Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. Ugh, it's disgusting to even say.
Can we start now? I am Honey Boo Boo Shine. I am a pirate grand style.
So I saw the trailer for this show a couple days ago, and I thought to myself, this can't be real. This has to be a clever parody by Saturday Night Live or The Onion or somebody. This cannot actually exist. But it does. And I watched the first 2 episodes just so I could make this video about it, because I knew that if I watched it, I'd have something to say, and I most certainly do. Okay, so the family, and I'm going off my memory here. So if I make a mistake, I don't have a fucking thing in front of me telling me what to say about these people. This is just like, I watched it, and now I've come in here to make this video, and I'm just improvising the whole damn thing. So the matriarch of the family is Mama, who is just this rugged, mountainous woman who just exudes the redneck woman authority. If you've never been to the South, if you don't know the South, then you don't know about the redneck woman authority, but she has that going on. She's like a force to be reckoned with, okay? You understand what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, if you're in a spelling contest against her or something like that, you're fine. You can just take a load off. You've won that before it's even begun. And then she's got all her kids. She's got, I don't know, like 1,000 daughters. There's just like a bunch of them, and they all kind of just bleed together into one really trashy teenage girl. There's like one that's like 12 or something, and she farts a lot, and, you know, just has this kind of like, I do what I want kind of thing going on. They've all kind of got that going on, honestly. I think ever since like Jerry Springer, we here in America just love obnoxious people who are proud of being obnoxious. Like, it's not enough that they're just like really obnoxious people who do completely obnoxious things. They've got to have pride in it. They've almost got to feel like it makes them better than everyone else. And then one of her kids is like a 17-year-old girl, and she's pregnant. She's like in her 3rd trimester of pregnancy. I guess that she's already had the baby by now, but she hadn't in the episodes I watched. And she was getting her ultrasound done, and they're like, yeah, this is gonna, you know, you can see a cross-section of the baby's abdomen. And she's like, what's an abdomen? I don't know what no abdomen is.
You know, I dropped down and got my GED. Well, I'm very, very proud on her because she's staying in school.
I mean, if someone's like 17 years old and they don't know what abdomen means, then trying to teach them new stuff is kind of like trying to teach a tiger how to not have stripes. You just, it's not there's the connection, if it was gonna be made, it would have been made by now. You see what I'm saying? And then there's like another daughter that I don't even remember, and then there's a honey boo boo child. I don't fucking know. They all have these goofy nicknames like Pumpkin and Honey Boo Boo Child and Buttercup and fucking Tarantula Face. I don't fucking know. How to describe the personality of Honey Boo Boo Child? Okay, just take like a valley girl from California, but then give her a redneck accent, make her act completely unrefined, and then just fill her head with some generic kids say the darndest things kind of shit, and just send her out in the world, and you got yourself a fucking reality star. Because all she does is just act sassy and go like, and then, you know, every once in a while she'll say something a little bit more blunt than an adult would have said it because she's a kid and she's got no filter. Actually, I don't even know if that works anymore as a gimmick, because every motherfucker on this show, regardless of their age, just lets loose any stupid thought that enters into their heads. Because, hey, when you only get like 12 or 13 thoughts a day, you gotta let the world know. But you know what? I watch the show, and I gotta be honest, I don't hate these people. I really don't. You know, I know I'm sitting here making fun of them because that's what you expect, that's what you want, that's what I think is going to entertain you to some extent. But I really bear no ill will towards those motherfuckers. They've never harmed me. They've never done a thing to me in their fucking lives. Like, they're fine. They're off there. They're living their lives. They don't know what simple words mean, and they're proud of it. Hey, I don't give a fuck. It doesn't bother me. You know, me living on the same planet as them, that doesn't piss me off. Because, you know what? They're from a part of the country, they're from a part of our society that is broken and neglected, and it's not their fault that they turned out the way they did. The motherfuckers that have no excuse are you guys. The people watching this fucking shit. And I guess to an extent that has to include me, because I just watched it, and here I am talking about it, and some of you will probably go check it out just based on me talking about it. You'll say, well, I want to see if it's really as bad as The Amazing Atheist said, and then you'll go watch it. And we're all part of the real fucking problem, which is that this is what passes for entertainment in our culture. Now, in some ways, television is better than ever, okay? We've got shows like Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones and Dexter and Californication and whatever else out there. There's a lot of adult dramas that are serious and complex and interesting that people are tuning in to watch. And that's good. In some ways, this is the golden age of television. But then in other ways, it's worse than it's ever been. It's like television used to be kind of smart and kind of dumb at the same time. You know, stuff like Married with Children. It's kind of fucking, you know, catering to the lowest common denominator, but at least it's clever and funny, and they keep the jokes fresh and all that. And then at some point, that just split, and it said, okay, intelligent television, go over here, stupid television, go over here. And now, thanks to that, we're watching little redneck girls and their sassiness on television like it's something to behold. It's not anything to behold. I mean, there's no way to look at this show from a positive angle. It just can't be done. It's indefensibly bad in every sense of the word. Because, okay, let's say we're watching it because we admire these people. We're not, but let's say we were. If you're watching these people for role models, they're terrible role models.
Nobody can be proper and etiquetely all the time. I don't care who you are.
Are we watching it just to denigrate these people? Well, in that case, we're a nation of fucking bullies and thugs who make fun of people who are less fortunate than us. That makes us fucking scum. That makes us a scummy, shitty fucking society. Am I wrong? And maybe someone will try to pull this bullshit argument. They'll say, well, we're not deriding these people and we're not admiring these people. We're just looking to them because they're having a different human experience than we are. And you know, when we look at them and we watch them with empathy and we consider them as human beings without the, you know, constraints of social caste and all that other stuff, then we can, you know, have a more full view of the species and the totality of what the human condition represents. Maybe someone will try to pull that bullshit argument. But that still doesn't fucking grok, and I'll tell you why. Because this show is so fucking scripted. That's the strange thing about reality television. It replaced scripted television, and then it became scripted television. Now, it's not scripted in the same way that scripted television is scripted. What they do is, they pull these people aside and they say, well, why don't you say something like this? Or, why don't you guys do this? Because we think that'd be funny. You know, so these people's lives are being written. They're being treated like human props, you know, to be simplified and caricatured and then served up to mainstream America. And then they just fucking thrust it out in the world and say, hey, it's the fucking stupid redneck show. Watch how these fucking rednecks live. There's like this big argument right now, like, is this family being exploited? There is no fucking argument. They are clearly being exploited. The question is not whether or not they're being exploited. The question is, does anyone give a fuck? Does anyone still have the decency to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't exploit these people. Maybe we shouldn't fucking thrust all their dirty laundry into the public square because they don't understand the ramifications of what they're getting into. Maybe we, as a society, should have a little bit more class than to exploit fucking stupid, naive people and put them on television for the whole world to fucking look over and examine and judge. This show has good ratings. It has good ratings. People are watching it. This is not something that hit the air and people are like, I don't care about that. This hit the air and people are like, oh, hell yeah! Finally! I've been waiting for a fucking show like this. Alright, so here's my appeal. If you're someone who is watching this fucking show because you want to make fun of these people, stop it! You're a fucking douchebag and a bully. Knock it off. Stop watching the fucking show. If you're watching this show because you admire these people, stop! Do not admire them. They are not to be admired, alright? If you want to admire someone, admire like Neil deGrasse Tyson, or someone who's cool and smart and accomplished. And if you're watching this show for its slice of life value, don't! It has none. It's completely sterilized and sanitized from the word go. It's been filtered through the minds of fucking money-grubbing producers, alright? So stop. Don't watch that. There are plenty of things out there that will give you insight into the human condition, okay? Go read some fucking good literature. It doesn't have to be like fucking Huckleberry Finn or some classic. Just read a decent book. You can read a fucking book by Stephen King and garner more insight into the human condition than you would get watching every single episode of Here Comes Honey Boo Boo from here until the end of time, because that's probably how long they'll be making this insipid fucking drivel. And finally, if you're the Learning Channel, then I have to say, you cannot be the fucking Learning Channel and put this show on the air. The only thing that you're going to learn watching this show is how to vomit for 3 minutes solid. So either change your name to the Insipid Drivel Channel or take this show off the air. Live up to your goddamn name. And that goes for all you fucking cable channels that used to be dedicated to a subject matter, and now you're just dedicated to producing this cheap, exploitative shit that sucks. No one actually likes this fucking shit. People just watch it because it's on. They're like a fucking bunch of cattle. They're just like, nah. And I know that you don't care because it's cheaper to produce reality television than scripted television. So as far as you're concerned, it's the best thing to ever happen. But I promise you that you are making this species dumber. If that matters to you, I swear you are making the entire human race more stupid by putting this shit on the air. So please, just think about that Learning Channel, History Channel, music television. What the fuck happened?